Hey, what's up? Let's cut the bullshit and get right into it. In this episode, I had a chat with a legend. I'm gonna give you some clues about my special guest. When God said, "Let there be light," he said, "Say please." Time waits for no man, unless that man is my today's guest. He does not sleep, he waits. He recently had the idea to sell his pee as a canned beverage. It's now called Red Bull. He counted to infinity twice. He hits two stones with one bird. Ladies and gentlemen, my legendary guest today is no one but Josef Fares, the head of Hazelight Studios and the brain behind Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, A Way Out, and his new game, It Takes Two. I've had so many great icons of the video game industry as my guest, but after years of doing this, my chat with Josef is the best one I've had already. I've learned so many things, I laughed so hard, and I was touched by his passion, care, and love. Josef is a fantastic director, but above all, he is a passionate and a true man. Goddamn right. In this ultimate Josef Fares episode, we talked about his childhood, escaping war, migrating to Sweden, all of his games, his techniques, and his new game, It Takes Two. I'm asking you to please listen to this episode completely, because you're gonna be blown away by the end. My name is Hazelight. It is spelled HAMIDREZANIKOOFAR. And you can find me on Twitter at HRNikofar or on Instagram by the name of Hazelight. You can listen to my What's Up conversations on all major podcast streaming apps, and also you can watch the video version of it on What's Up Conversations YouTube channel. Get all the information about the podcast and my next guest on www.nikofarmusic.com. Let's get rid of this intro and watch or listen to my chat with Josef Fares. This is great. I'm so happy. So, once again, welcome to the show. So, now this is a very special episode for me because a lot of people were asking me to have a conversation with you. And once that I announced that it's going to happen, I was bombarded with so many messages from people around the board being excited about it. They've been sending me questions and topics to discuss with you. And I think this is something extraordinary that only after releasing two games, you've gained such a huge fan base that when you announce a new game, the titles are like a new game by Josef Fares. Not the name of the game, not the game from Hazelight or EA or like the creator of Brothers or A Way Out. The titles are Josef Fares is making a new game, and everybody, including me, loses their shit. So my question is simple, man. What's the key? How did this happen?
I have no clue. I just do my thing, and this is what goes on. I'm a passionate man. I mean, as you know, like when I believe in something, nothing stops me. And I truly, like, it's like when people say, like, I have no doubt in my mind that the game we're doing now is going to kick ass. It's going to be so different, such a hilarious ride. I mean, I sometimes like ask people when they play the game, like it's quite easy to have self-confidence when you see this game, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just that when I believe in something, I just don't see anything else. So I just do my thing. That's the thing. And you know, one of the key things I think, and the key, if there is such a thing, is you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I think one of them is trying to really truly do what you believe in, and don't get too dependent of your environment. Just know of your environment. You understand the difference there?
Yeah, sure.
So there's a difference between being like dependent on what will people think, what will people like, and so on and so. Of course, it's. I mean, I like when people like things, but at the end of the day, I have to love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but
this.
And I have to feel it here as well. That's very important. If I don't care what this shit says.
Exactly.
This is my best friend and my worst enemy.
Yeah, keep it coming, man. This amazing character of yours is full of joy, energy, self-awareness, and confidence. Every time I watch an interview with you, there's a smile on my face, and I'm inspired to conquer the whole fucking world by you. So,
boom, that's it.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that in your games, I see some serious emotional and sometimes very sad elements that go deep into the subconscious of the gamers. That I believe is a reflection of your own life journey. A lot of us know about today. A lot of us know about today's Josef Fares, but I
Mm.
guess your past is very inspiring too, especially in these difficult times. You were born in Lebanon. You
Yeah.
literally escaped the war, started a new life in a foreign country with a different language and culture, and yet you become such a successful filmmaker in that country, and your art travels across all the nations. And that
Yeah.
looks like a peak, the ultimate. But hell no, it didn't stop there. You were like, I'm
Yeah.
a storyteller. Let's tell
Yeah.
a new story within a new platform, which is video games. And your debut,
Mm.
Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, was nothing but a fucking masterpiece. So, not to punch all the whining game developers around the world in the face, please tell me about your hard journey to become the magnificent and inspiring Josef Fares of today,
Oh,
starting with your childhood.
okay. Shit. That's a big question. So where do we start? Well, I mean, the thing is like, I think that since was born, I mean, in Lebanon, it was obviously like a civil war over there, so a lot of bad shit happens. I mean, I don't know. Probably, I mean, it's probably a combination of genetics and the environment you live in, and the way the stuff that happens to you. But for some reason, storytelling was kind of close to my heart, even when I was very young. Obviously, didn't have any money, lived like a, we were like 7 people in a very small house. So I started drawing these like almost like series. No, what is it called? Comics.
Yep.
So I did kind of like a comic. So early at that time, I really loved storytelling. And then also I was, I think, 6 or 7 when I played the first game Atari. And actually, my love for video games came before movies. And then we moved to Sweden. To make a long story short, we moved to Sweden. I was 10 years old. And in the beginning, as you say, like a lot of people know me as a crazy guy, but I also have I'm a very emotional guy as well. It's not that just I'm nuts. I mean, I am nuts most of the time. If you ask my team, sometimes my team look at me, they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
What a joy it is to work with you, man. I can't only imagine.
You should interview my team. But here's the thing. I don't know how people see me, but you should actually talk to my team.
Yeah,
here's the thing. I have extreme self-confidence, but here's the thing. I always question everything and turn every stone to understand it. So there's a difference between having extreme self-confidence of what you do, but really diving into what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I don't let my mind stop me like, oh, is this good or not? No, I just like focus. What can we do here? And also, one of the big key things is to get the team to go nuts. I mean, one of the key things I say to the team members, especially the designers and everybody else, is like in Sweden, it's called spåra ur. That means like derail, keep derailing, keep fucking up, keep fuck shit up. And that's the thing where it kind of sounds silly, but it has a very good point to it. Because if people hear all the time, keep fucking up, keep fucking, they will do stuff and find stuff in themselves that they didn't know they had actually. But getting back to your question, so I came back to, that's typical me, I change subjects all the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I came back to, I came to Sweden, not back. And I was 15 years old. And at that time, I had a big, I was, what do you say, like when you're, where people are teasing you, I was kind of like one of the few immigrants in the school.
Yeah.
So when you get teased and stuff, what is it called? When you're bullied.
Bullied, yeah.
Yeah, bullied. However, I didn't I wasn't the kind of guy that was in a corner. I mean, I actually fought my way back. But at the end of the day, so I started to make this, like go away in this creative ways. And I thought like when I did creative stuff like that people would start liking me. So actually that was the start of my career. Just wanted people to like me. And it started off by a friend's camera, a friend's father's camera. We borrowed that, and that started my career with movies. And I think I was 21 or 22. I made my first feature film. 7 years later, I became the #1 box office hit in Sweden. I was like, became a huge success. And actually, I've been successful like for 20 years. And to be honest with you, like, I don't really take success that seriously. To be honest, like it's success is kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
As long as I feel like the body or the lust, that's so important.
Exactly. I mean, you were so successful making films, and that's a very risky decision to just suddenly change the, a career and come to video games.
Oh man,
that exactly shows that you're not obsessed with success or being a celebrity or something. You're just passionate about storytelling.
Life for me is like a play. I have a partner that I'm playing, and it's gonna be over pretty soon. Not pretty soon, but yeah, depending on how you look at it. So I want to have fun while you're here. That's why I say, have fun, fuck shit up, just be kind to everybody as much as you can, and then have fun. That's the most important. There's so much people, I believe, put so much effort and energy on many other things. I wish. I mean, I myself actually struggle with that as well. But I mean, I've become so much better than before.
Yeah, great. So when you were starting out, why did you choose to make films instead of games, and what did change that later on?
Well, making movies was a bit easier because, as I said, like I borrowed a friend's father's camera. It was easier. The first movies I did, I was a big fan of Bruce Lee. So I mean, I've done a lot of martial arts. So a lot of the first movies I did was almost all of them like people getting killed, and like in that city I lived called Örebro in Sweden. I mean, I had like the cops coming out maybe 20, 30 times. One time they came out with a SWAT team thinking that we were shooting in the town or something like that. But I really like. I mean, and during those short movies, I always played video games. I've always, I mean, the thing is, the way I love video games is, I think like it's almost like, okay, let me give you a perspective on it. Like when I read history books, which I'm kind of interested of, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, fuck, they didn't have video games. You see what I mean? Like it's such a part of my DNA, so it's impossible not to talk about it. So I talked about this all the time, every time I did a movie. So I did the movies until 2010 was the last movie I did, and it was a super big, successful hit. But I lost the
passion.
The passion, yes, the passion. And when I lose passion, then I'm fucked. Then I don't function. It doesn't matter if you give me $100 million, I'm not gonna work. So I'm not gonna function. It's kind of like what the. So and then I had the opportunity to actually make a demo of a game. I was a friend of mine who had a school, like they had some students. And there he said, like, would you like to make a demo of a game? I'm like, yeah, man, what the fuck? Why not? Let's do it. And then I came up with the concept of Brothers. So actually, Brothers, I did a demo first with a team, and then another demo with another team, and then came the actual game that I did with the pretty much the same team I have now, but a bit bigger team. Yeah, it's been one hell of a trip.
So speaking of Brothers, the other day I was talking to Jordan Thomas, the director of Bioshock 2, about this subject that we don't see a lot of personal games in this industry. I mean, in films, people keep saying that, oh, this is the most personal film of that director. But in video games, we don't see that a lot. Do you think Brothers is a personal story of Josef Fares? And why do you think that we don't see these self-reflective stories in video games more often?
It's coming. Trust me. And like I have so many thoughts of how video games should be, especially the story ones. But it's definitely coming, and we're seeing the progress here. Look, we're in a situation where we're still learning how to tell stories in video games. We don't know how to do it yet. There are some successful ones, obviously, but we're still trying to understand like how do we tell a story in an interactive way. And that's why I love video games. That's why I pretty much started Hazelight. And what I like about Brothers, I remember, like I'm gonna spoil it now. It's such an kind of like a 7-year-old game. But what I liked about the ending of Brothers, that when I came up with that, I couldn't sleep that night. I came to the team the day after. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. And it was like when because you play Brothers with one controller, and you have Big Brother, Little Brother, and because you control the Big Brother with the normal stick you control, because normally you have the camera on this one, but so when the Big Brother dies, you actually lose a physical connection of something.
Exactly.
And you feel, and the only way to progress with the little brother is he had to have the Big Brother to swim with him, to hold on to him. But when he's gone, so you have to push the button of the Big Brother to get the strength of the little brother. So all these things, like, I mean, it still give me goosebumps when I think about it. This is actually, I think, an perfect way of actually storytelling in an interactive way. Yeah. So, and this is only like, I think we're only nudging on it. And I know a lot of people say that games are still very early in their storytelling, but I think it's true. We are still looking a lot at movies or books or whatever. So, but we're slowly finding how to tell story in video games, and it will take a while. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll be there in 5-10 years when we talk about more serious issues. Because right now, I mean, I question all the time. If you look at our games, I mean, I refuse to have one mechanic throughout the whole game. Yeah. If someone tells me, like, the typical old game design shit where someone says you have to learn the mechanic, blah, 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 the player, no. For story titles, no. For story titles, I believe it should always reflect what the situation is. You see what I mean? Like, if you're playing a story title, you shouldn't do the same thing over and over again. Like the story should reflect like. And I know like a lot of developers says, yeah, but this costs so much. But I would argue then if you have a big cool explosion in a movie that costs a lot, you wouldn't put it in like several times in the movie just because it's cool and costs a lot. Doesn't matter if scenes cost or not. I mean, rather have shorter games. That's also another thing we can talk about. Like, but yeah. So I think we're learning, and slowly it's happening stuff. And I think one of the key things is to something I talk about a lot is to the story writers and the designers need to collaborate. That's very important. Normally, you see story and designers kind of like doing two different games. So you have the story going on, and the designers doing its own games. And I definitely think cutscene could be part of it. I don't think like it should be taken away from video games. And I know some people think that cutscene should it's not in games. And I think it could be part of that as well. But the gameplay have to be part of the if you're doing a story game. If you want to do like a level shooter, level, that's just something else. Then you can have the same mechanic. And I'm not the fan of those type of game because for me it's kind of a just like statistics going up. But I know people love those games, but I will never be involved in such. I played them to understand. I just finished playing Division 2 just to understand like what does it really mean to. But after a certain level, I'm like, okay, this is enough for me, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I can keep talking about this for hours.
No, that's a good topic, and we'll get back to it. But I wanted to tell you something special.
Just remind me when I go off too far, because I'm the kind of
free,
I have
man.
so many stuff in my head.
This is the easiest interview I've ever done. It's just talk, man.
I can trust me. I can talk for hours.
Yeah, that's good. So the other day, I wanted to go back and play Brothers for the second time. But I couldn't, and probably I wouldn't, because I lost my dad to cancer last year, and my brother and I went through a lot to fight his illness. And that game it suddenly became so personal in my eyes. So, and that game happens in a fantasy world, but the characters are so real that now that I think about it, it's a very personal game for me. So I just wanted to tell this to you, to appreciate your art and the way you tell emotional storytelling. I mean, we talked about it. So now you mentioned about this, that a lot of games are like a big cliche lore with some boring and long dialogues with cutscenes to tell a shallow story and gameplay separated by the plot. But your games not only merge the two elements perfectly together, but it also reaches for new ways to make an impact on the player. For example, playing Two Brothers, as you mentioned, with only one controller, and it brings the emotional narrative of the game to a physical form. Exactly at the end, it tells the story through hands of the players. Same goes to a Way Out, and in that prison back-to-back wall climbing scene. Other games would have probably cut to a cutscene when the players reaches a trigger down the wall, but you kept the flow and translated the hardship of climbing that wall into a physical experience shared with two different people. How do you approach these moments? Do you come do they come after the idea of the scene, or the scene and the story come after them?
Let me start by saying I'm sorry for the loss of your father, man. Yeah, my father is going through some serious cancer treatment right now as well. So I know the feeling, but knock on wood, it's looking good. So let's see how it goes.
That's good.
Yeah, man. So we'll see. It's again, and to be honest with you, I'm not saying that I totally get or are at a place where we can tell stories through. I think both Brothers, A Way Out, in the new game are there nudging, you know what I mean, doing stuff that are like, oh shit, we're getting it. But still, like even the next idea I have, which I'm super excited, I'm sitting with it right now and finishing It Takes Two. It's still again like trying to marry the mechanic and the end. And I think again, one of the key, I mean, A Way Out was a crazy development. It was such a like, we were like, I mean, the budget for that game is kind of like a coffee budget of a normal AAA title, if you know what I mean. So we worked our asses off, and in that game, so the kind of the overall script was there, and every situation we wanted to have like gameplay, like how can we make this an interactive experience? So all the time having every scene or every written scene should be part of the should be played as it's written, you know what I mean? So every situation you encounter should be a game again. So So instead of just having it's a shooter, you shoot here, you have a cutscene, you shoot again. So if you're in a play like in a Way Out, when you are in a place where you're supposed to clean, then you clean. If you're in a place where you're supposed to do that, you do that. And the scenery changes all the time. And that I think is very important, because if you have a mechanic that reflects the story, then I think you will be connected to the story more. You know what I mean? I mean, that's one of the arguments, like when you have games with strong stories where a character die in a game and then character itself kills so many enemies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are stuff like, I think in the future, I mean, even people are like if they're even questioning like games like Last of Us Part 2 or Last of Us Part 1, for instance. Like if, Joel, Ellie, how can they kill so many but still, you know what I mean? So, but I think in the future, this will be way harder. I think we will be more against like because the details of the character and everything is becoming so strong and so like realistic. So I think we have to come up with a different way of doing it. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to make a game that you feel throughout the whole experience. But I think one of the key things with the games we do here is like, again, the best way to describe it is that every scene you encounter should reflect the gameplay.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, you will see it. The new game, I mean, without saying anything, trust me, they're not going to be, you're going to be shocked. Every scene is going to be like, oh, whoa, what, like the developers sometimes here say, oh shit, this is crazy, but I think I love it. It's so much different, unique stuff happening. You will see.
I'm sure it's going to blow my mind. So
yeah, you will get blown. Trust me. I'm so confident you will get blown. So I can't help it. Like I guarantee you, it's a co-op game. Play with someone like you like, and trust me, you will have one hell of a ride. The team has gone nuts, literally nuts.
How many people are in Hazelight?
You don't get shocked at any time when you play this game. I'm ready to chop off my both hands and arms and leg.
That is great. Yeah. How many people are in Hazelight?
Right now we're like 60.
60 lucky people.
Yeah. But we're not gonna grow anymore. This is it, because I think this is enough. Because then you can like do the games. I mean, I work with EA. I know a lot of people say a lot of shit about EA, but they don't have anything to do with the game. Like literally nothing. The only thing they do is help out. Like literally nothing. Like they don't even ask, like, can we change this color to this? I say no. I mean, that it won't happen. So for me, it's super to work with EA. I know it's very different from what people think of EA, but with me, they're super good.
Yeah, this is great. You're always focused, and that's, I think, is that is the secret, that you always come up with new ideas and you deliver something new, because you're focused. You're not going to try different things just for selling games or, getting extra credits on I don't know, and Metacritic or somewhere else. Yeah. So
trust me, I'm not the kind of guy that talks shit as well. Like we deliver here, you know what I mean? Like when we say this is gonna be done, I'm the first one's gonna react when things don't happen. Like we do deliver. So I think looking at this game and how they are reacting now when we're testing the game, it's super cool.
Awesome. So after Brothers, a star was born. Josef Fares is the new game changer. You had you had to top that last game, Brothers, and that could be a nightmare for anyone. But I know you, and your confidence was probably like, I'm gonna top that game, but also I'm gonna start my own company too. So tell me about those times. Talk about the birth of Hazelight and the challenges involved in starting your first video game company.
Well, one of the first things was like, because after Brothers, like I got there were publishers contacting me and wanted to work together. And I was very like clear with what I want. Like, this is the way it's going to be handled. I'm going to be the creative. You can't get involved. Like I was super hard, like 100% creative control. That was the thing. I mean, nothing could change that. Look, here's the thing. I tell that to everybody. It doesn't matter how much money you give me. If someone is not letting me be 100% creative, I don't give a fuck. Like that's nothing. Not any single dollar in the world would change my mind, because I know I don't function otherwise. So that was the key thing. And I was actually very close of signing with Microsoft, like super close, like this. And then there was a guy at EA, known Patrick. He's a friend of mine. He doesn't work at EA anymore, but at that time he was like in quite a high position. So he contacted me and I told him like, look, here's the thing. I'm going to sign the contract. We got a really good deal. I mean, really good deal. It was an indie deal, so it wasn't that. But I mean, it's not triple A deal if we're talking like
Yeah.
that. Then it was like, okay, let's do this and that. And I'm like, he gave me a better deal. And for me, that he was stationed in Sweden and everything, I was like, okay, this is better for us. So I, put together the team of brothers, pretty much everyone. And then slowly from there, we actually sat at the office of Dice, Dice, the Battlefield guys.
Oh yeah.
So the good thing is that we didn't have to focus on all the office shit, like all this, cleaning and everything and like blah blah blah, all that. So we could focus on actually making the game. And we had help from their IT people that put together our computer. We worked on a different engine, Unreal. So we had a bit of a help, but it was one hell of a ride because, there was A Way Out is a crazy ambitious game for the money we had, and I'm actually surprised that we got it together. And when it got released, and that's the funny part, people like, and understandably, people like compared the shooting on A Way Out with like Uncharted shooting. I'm like,
Oh,
okay, yeah,
man.
sure. We had one coder on our shooting mechanics. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. They've done 4 games. I know Naughty Dog and Neil is super good people, but like we couldn't stand a chance of having the same like quality of level. But it was really hard work, and again the passion. I believe so much in that game, and nothing could change my mind. It was one heck of a ride. At one point, like all the money I had, I went into The Way Out. At one point, I remember my economy guy was like, "Look, if this doesn't go well, you're gonna be on the street." I'm like, "I don't care. I know this is gonna kick ass, And then the rest is history, as you say. A Way Out did super good. We've been winning awards, been selling. We're maybe have been sold like 2.5 million units, which is crazy for an indie title like this. And EA, didn't make any money of that title. It's hard for people to believe it, but we had 100% of the income of that game, so which is crazy because that was the original deal like we had, which is like super good. And now we're making another one. It Takes Two that we just like teased a little bit now.
Yeah. We'll get to that. But let's talk about A Way Out. The ending of A Way Out. I'm not gonna spoil it, but when I was playing the ending with my friend on the same screen, I was like, "This is insane. This is against the rules. What the fuck? What should we do now? What kind of a genius sick person would come up with this ending?" And we were stunned. Did you have the ending from the beginning? Because the whole story means something completely different when you experience that way.
Yes. The whole concept, like A Way Out, was truly a concept that you can describe with one meaning. Again, if someone hasn't played the game, they should stop listening. But I'm gonna say it now. The idea is to create trust between 2 players and then trash it all apart. So that's the whole idea. Like really create trust that you're working in, then like boom. And I know people like, why can I have a choice of not killing? The whole idea is that you have to make that choice of kill the other. That's the whole idea of the game. You have to like force the player to do that, and it's those feeling I really love actually.
And it was crazy. But, my friend was 2 meters away from me, and we were playing like, "What the fuck, man? I'm sorry. This is nuts."
Yeah, it's good when you see reactions on YouTube. Like that game, it helped us so much because there weren't so many big streamers who played that game. They weren't paid or they weren't nothing. Nobody told them to play it. They just played it. I don't know if it was like because they started to like me or thought that was interesting. Like, I don't know, maybe after Fuck the Oscars or after like at the E3 presentation. I don't remember, like, but for some reason they played it, and you can see the reactions of player on YouTube when that moment happens. It's actually very fun to see how they react. I'm really looking forward actually to see players. There's so many moments in the next game where I want to see how, because we already do like internal testing. We have players coming in and play through the whole game. I just watched one right now. It's so interesting to see the players' reaction. They're like, "What? Whoa!" And I'm like you can't. I don't know. I'm ready to pay anyone whatever. If you play this game without reacting for nothing, then it's impossible. You would definitely like, "What the fuck?" At one moment, at several moments. Trust me.
Yeah. So A Way Out tops the brothers, and now we are waiting for It Takes Two. We know a little bit about it, but I guess this is going to be your biggest game. So,
Yeah,
what's interesting is your first game was a fantasy game that made me cry several times. Thank you very much for that. And A Way Out was happening in real world, and it was a crime story. So that
Mhm.
fucker made us put down the controller, and my friend and I were absolutely silent, looking at the credits rolling. Now, It Takes Two looks way different than
yeah,
the other two. But again, we're going to play with you are going to play with the emotions of the players and the
yeah,
characters this time. And
yeah.
in the game, however, the look of the game is like something completely different. What are you
Totally.
looking? What are you cooking, Joseph? Don't
Well,
fuck
I
with our
can't talk
emotions, man.
about it. I can't talk about it too much. But here's the thing. Uh, it's kind of is a way a love story, but it's as I said, it's about a divorce. So what we're trying to do here is again marrying the story mechanics. So what these characters are experiencing or what these characters are going through, we're trying to create a mechanic that reflects their emotions. You know what I mean? So if so when when you play so whatever encounter you have in It Takes Two, it will reflect kind of the story. What it will make sense if you're in a place where I don't want to say anything where this is, then you will play this. You know what I mean? So everything. So the whole idea is like to marry those two, but it's very different from A Way Out. It's very different type of gameplay. It's oh, I can't say so much, but it's very different. I mean, people will be like, I think they will recognize that this is a Hazelight game, but it will definitely not be A Way Out and Brothers. And so is the next game I'm planning right now.
Come
That is
on, you're
also
working on
extremely
another game?
different. Yeah.
God
Not yet, but
damn.
I'm working on a concept because right now, when we're in the end, we're like in a bug fixing mode right now. So right now, I have a little more time to like focus on the next one. So I already have it in my game, the next game in my head, and I can already tell you now, you haven't seen anything like it.
God
That's for sure.
damn,
Like
man.
I'm super
You're
super excited,
killing
but
me.
I wish I could talk more about It Takes Two, but I guarantee you it will be one hell of a ride. I know I sound cocky, but I can't help it. I can't
Come
help
on,
it.
man. I know,
It's
yeah.
impossible. It's actually impossible not to be cocky if you see the game. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like it's a if you were doing the same game, I don't see any reason. I mean, I'm always cocky anyway, but you would be cocky as well.
I'm
But again, it's super cool. The team has gone totally nuts, and we are fucking up all the time. Again, that's what we're all about. Keep fucking shit up
yeah. I was
and being nice to each other.
yeah. I
That's
was
very important.
I was thinking about what kind of games I want to see from you, and suddenly the first thing that came to my mind was, what if Joseph make a horror game? That would be awesome. You ever
Yeah.
think
I mean,
about it?
I don't even look at horror movie. No, actually, I
Oh,
don't.
really?
No, I don't even look. I don't like horror movies, man.
Oh.
I live in a big house. I don't want to have weird thoughts in my mind like shit. Like I haven't seen a horror movie for ages. No, I don't like. I don't know what the next game. I mean, the next game I know, but the game after that, everything. I think uh, almost like to simplify it, there is two type of creativity: the one that are up here and the one that is in here. And I think the more you get connected to it, you just like stuff just comes to you, kind of like. So I never I have this thing that I really when I start to feel an idea, I never write it down because I have this thing like if it's something I feel and I will not forget it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
If
would
I
remember
forget
it.
it, doesn't mean yeah. So it's like I just feel it, and I think that the this thing is growing stronger, man. So it's like for every time I feel like more and more connected to this weird from a philosophical perspective,
Yeah,
like a connection with everything, which
yeah,
is kind of cool. Like and the cool thing, like when you start having the next vision, it's almost like falling in love. You know what I mean? It's like that same feeling. You kind of feel it in your body. You're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? But that doesn't take away all the hard work that you have to put in. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, hard work and the right word doesn't always have to be hard work, but that's wrong as well. Because I mean, right now, like we're in a situation with the team that we're looking very good where the game is, and nobody's been crunching on everything. I don't believe in crunch, but I also believe that that work people should work focusedly, like focusedly during the work hours. But I don't believe in crunch because I don't think that you become so effective, really.
I
But
think I
yeah,
think
I don't know.
what's great is that you're talking about making games, and overall storytelling with your heart.
Yes,
and
yes.
and that is really hard to be explained to for example a programmer or another person. And I think you're very good at translating your emotions into like concrete
I
ideas, like we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And of course they are so talented in Hazelight, talented people that could
oh
deliver
yeah.
this vision.
But I think one of the key thing important is that to keep to actually the environment you're in to inspire. I think that's super important.
Yeah.
I mean, many people are so much greater than they think. You know what I mean? And I think I'm kind of good of like keep saying to them like, oh fuck, this is good. Fuck, like keep pushing until like what the fuck happened here? Like you almost can like experience stuff in yourself that you didn't know you have. And that is super important. That's why the team is going nuts. And also remember, here at Hazelight, we have none interfering with what we're doing. We're doing literally what we want. Like this is the game we want to do. That's it. So every community, so if a team member like have this crazy idea, I'm sitting here, and I mean just talk to me, and that's it. Not that we need to have it like going through some kind of green light system or blah blah blah. No, no, no. This is where it happens. So I think it creates a different kind of creative freedom, almost like a indie developer creative freedom, but we're now a bit bigger than that. But it's almost the same like structure, you know what I mean? Like people are very free here. They can come up with whatever. Like, okay, this one, what about that? I'm like, this is super cool. Come on. And I also can be very hard, like, especially with the designers. Like I remember in the beginning, like, no, 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 we can't have this. I know you can do much better than this. Come on, don't show me this. I know you can do much better than. And they go like, and now I mean, they really know what I want. So they kind of like, okay, what about them? I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Now you're fucking up. And I can jump on the table and you can see I'm in the meeting room. I can jump up and like crazy. But I think also many of the times the developers here are like, oh shit, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? Because I get so excited and I scream and I talk and I don't think I'm the typical game developer. Not to be judgmental, but you know what I mean? Most of them are kind of like low key. I'm not that typical. I mean, I talk a lot, as you know.
But yeah,
And I
but when you're hiring new people in Hazelight, what are you looking for?
Vad heter det? I'm talking Swedish to you. Creative flexibility, not being like this is how to do games. I want people to be able, first of all, to believe that we can do something totally mad and out of this world. And when you believe that, then you have this creative freedom, and you're not stuck in rules and ideas. And I think that's the kind of person we want here. Someone that's ready to do something extremely different and is ready to like try the things that haven't been tried before. That's I'm super excited. If someone comes to me, a designer says, "This is how you do games," I'm like, "Okay, thank you and goodbye." I don't think it's something wrong with that. I just don't feel that to break the rules and to understand, especially if you're on a journey to try to combine the story mechanics, then you need to think new. You can't go to the old rules, and we know too little about games to understand what games are about. There's many stuff about games I would like to talk about. Like there's so many things like a lot of people talk about game length. That's like crazy.
Yeah, it's killing me, man. I know.
I mean, it's madness. It's mad. And I keep telling this. I don't know, like, because it's such a big problem. It's such a big problem that we have such a huge problem that people not finishing the games at all. All the statistics show that people are not even playing through the game once. And still, like, people are making these long ass games. A lot of people are missing so much content, a lot of overtime, and I keep telling like the journalists when I meet them, like, stop saying that this is short or long. It doesn't matter, because I mean it's kind of like a vicious circle, because players want like long games, they don't play them at all, and reviewers are journalists are talking about that this game is short, they give them maybe less review, and then you have publishers thinking that game as well, and it's a vicious circle and nobody's even stopping. I mean, I think for story titles it's crazy, this stuff, because there's so much content being thrown away, so much, and you end up also in a situation where first of all games become very costly, and second of all you can't have a 15 or 30-hour story game where you don't have to repeat the mechanic all the time. That's the only way you can do it. It's copy and paste method after a while. So why question? I mean, why question time? Sure, I understand if it's a game is like 2-3 hours, make it maybe 8 to 10 or whatever. I mean, I always say like the game should be as long as it needs to be. But I think this is a big problem, and we should focus first on why people are not finishing the game. It's a big problem. I mean, people are
Especially for
even
story-driven games.
here's the sick thing. Like statistically, everybody knows this. Like that you put your most focus on the first hours of your game because that's what most people will play. The rest, I mean, very few
Shit.
people will see it. You would be super surprised if you hear the statistics of how many people actually finish the game once.
Yeah.
Then you have a very few percentage that replay games and blah blah. But but is that worth like crunching the hell out of people and making games that are too long? And you feel, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And if you want to do a 20-hour, 30-hour, or 40-hour story game, then you should make it, because it's rarely I played a long game that I think holds. I mean, I think like many of the games you could take away 5 or 10 hours.
Yeah,
Like I think
exactly.
years would be better. But at the end of the day, I don't care if the experience is 1 hour, 100 hours. Like I really don't care. It's just that don't have it as a way of like looking at games. Like, okay, how long is this game? Like, what the fuck? Why does it even matter? It's so weird. And people are talking about, yeah, my money, and I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how people value their time, to be honest.
yeah.
Like, what are you ready to pay? You ready? I mean, it's so weird how you value your time, but it's obviously like everybody's choice. If you want to play the same thing for 100 hours, sure. If you think that's worth your money, but for me, I'd rather get 10 great hours and then do something else with the 90 hours, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
Do you
and
think
nobody like
is it
if you
gonna
look
ever
at the
change
I
for
think
good?
it will. Yeah, I think just someone have to stop saying like, "Come on, stop bullshitting. Let's do this. Let's make great games." And at the end of the day, I think all this will change. Like, what people
The
won't play
cost
a
of
game.
making is going up, so that's a
That
good
too.
factor.
That too. At the end of the day, just keep doing that. And I mean, the games are. I would say. I mean, I paid the same amount of money when I was young, but it was like most of the time very short games and very like not. So for me, like I just hope this way of looking at lengths in game just disappear. But I think it will eventually by itself, because we will end up at a day like we won't be able to play another first person, another third person if it's a story title. We're gonna need something more. We're gonna need something more, I think.
Where do you think is the best time to end a game as a developer?
When that it depends what your story is. So I'm talking about story titles now. I'm not talking
Exactly.
about
Yeah, yeah, I
multiplayer
know.
and stuff, obviously. So story titles, if you feel that your game should end there, then that's when it should end. That's what I'm saying. Like when you make a movie, for instance, you never. I mean, how often? Like when people came to me, they're like, "Ah, man, congratulations." I'm like, "For what?" Well, 51% played your game, finished the way out. I'm like,
Yeah,
"What?
come on.
That's mad. Should I be happy for that?" So that's very high for being a game that is like 5 or 6 hours. And I know many people complained that the way out was short. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. 50% didn't finish the game. I feel sad. It's like I make a movie and half of the audience get out before the movie's done. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something wrong with that. We have a serious issue that people are not finishing the games. I mean, and I think it's many reasons. They don't have time. They get bored. And I think that the mechanic don't hold up. You can't play the same thing over and over again. I mean, that just have to get away in story games. If you want the people to keep interest, I think that needs to be changed. But to know what to end your game is like depends when your script says it should end here, or how you want to end it. It shouldn't be part of the discussion on how a long game should be. And I can understand if people feel like, okay, if I pay this or pay that, sure. If you have a 3-hour game, sell it for less, then sell it for 10 or 15 or whatever you want to sell. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
just adjust the price or whatever you want. Like, but don't don't have it as part of the. Just doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense for me. It's just so sad. And you can see clearly many games, story games out there, that they're like, okay, this is just long, just for the sake of it, just for someone to say, like, oh, it's long, yeah. Now it's worth my money. It's like, what the fuck? Who cares? Like, I mean, you think they think like that in movies? Like, I don't think they
Yeah.
do. I mean, I know they don't. Like, oh, how long is the movie? Is it worth my money? Blah blah blah. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
gotta change, man. So, who's your main audience for It Takes Two? Do you care if to change some aspect of your games to make it more appealing to a certain group of audience?
No. It's again, that's extremely important. I mean, it could be some. So let's say, for instance, if we have like a very small scene that I don't really like feel is important, and if we change that, it could become a PG 13 or PG 11 or that. That's fine. But if the story is this, that's what it is. I mean, it's not. No, I'm not fine with that. I mean, it's very important that Hazelight have full creative control, and they really do. No, I think we work very differently from other developers here, especially because we're kind of in a like in a double A place where we can literally do what we want and how we want it. Otherwise, I won't do it. I would quit tomorrow if someone comes to me. I would say, so nobody can force me. So that it's so easy for me. It's like this is how it's gonna be. It's either yes or no. If it's no, it's goodbye for me. That's it. There's no option. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go to work. It would be too boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, Joseph, I'm a video game composer. Give me a quick tip about making impactful music for games.
Oh shit. I don't know. I'm not a music guy, but I think the only way is that to keep making music and keep making music for games and keep. I mean, I work with my composers here. We have two right now, and they're super cool. I mean, I'm not that good in music actually. I try to. I mean, one of the composers here know me so good. So when I try to talk to him, he kind of gets it. I remember I was in London with the symphony orchestra there, quite a big orchestra there, and there was a movie we're doing, and I was trying to explain to the what's it called, the conductor, or
Conductor,
or
yeah.
was it conductor, like how to change the music and everything. I was waving one my hands, and I don't understand. So I'm not the kind of but again, I go again back to what I said before. Like it's about feeling it here. It
Yeah.
sounds very cliche and blah blah blah, but trust me, there's a reason why it is cliche because there is truth to it. You know, I think the more you listen to that inner voice, if it even is a voice, maybe it's a more a feeling. Then I'm quite sure it comes out something more. I don't know. You will feel what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
When you
So,
start listening more to this.
yeah. So before we finish, I'm gonna ask you some rapid questions to satisfy your fans.
All
So,
right,
your top
let's go.
three, your top three video games of all the time.
Top three. Okay, I would have to choose top three. Okay, Half-Life 2, I would say. Mario Galaxy 2. And actually, when I experienced Uncharted 2 was amazing. So I would say
Yeah.
those three games.
Oh, that's great. So,
Yeah.
your top three films of all the time.
Oh shit, that wasn't hard. Okay, this is it's a movie by Stanley Kubrick called Barry Lyndon. I
Yeah, I saw it.
love that
Yeah,
movie.
great
I
movie.
really love it. And then I'm a huge fan of James Cameron. I would say, let's
You
pick one
excited about
maybe.
Avatar 2?
Oh, I love it. I loved Avatar 1. I would say like you know what I think yeah, Terminator 2, I really liked it. I remember I really liked it. But I mean I wouldn't say it's very hard to pick three movies actually. Jurassic Park 1, I loved. I mean there's the ET, like the I'm more a fan of the I mean Stanley Kubrick is not the kind of an audience kind of guy, but I'm very much fan of many of the James Cameron movies and especially the old Steven Spielberg movie and the Martin Scorsese, kind of typical in a way. But the movies Paul Thomas Anderson, the director, I
Fuck
think
yeah,
he's
my
done some
favorite
really
director.
cool
Yeah.
stuff. Done some really cool stuff. There Will Be Blood. I love. I like a lot of different things actually. A
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of different. But I'm a
Great.
big fan of like the what they call the big commercial directors. You know, Christopher Nolan. I love also. It's hard to pick three actually.
Yeah. Do you ever think about coming back to making films?
Oh yeah, I will. I will definitely make another movie. I mean, but I love games, so I will never like. I mean, when I have the time, I will get. I will have my first child now very soon.
Oh,
A
congratulations.
little
Yeah.
daughter. Yeah, thank you, man. So it's gonna be a new journey for me.
Oh,
I feel
man.
sorry for that little girl. Trust me. I feel sorry. She's gonna go like, what the fuck did I get? What kind of father did I get over here? It's gonna be nuts. No, trust me. She's gonna have a lot of fun. That's for sure.
I'm sure.
Uh, yeah. Where were we?
Yo, so
Yes.
your favorite person in video game industry?
My favorite person. One person only.
Oh, you can choose whatever you want.
Uh, I mean, I know a couple that are. I mean, I'm a big fan of Naughty Dog, and I think Neil Druckmann is a super cool dude who's been very kind and cool and inspirational to me actually. Also, I mean, him and Bruce Straley was a super
Yeah.
cool dude. Uh, I think one more. There's so many cool characters. Actually, let me switch that. I don't dislike anyone,
No,
to be
I mean,
honest.
I mean the persons that inspire you the most. I mean, in matter of
Inspire me
making
the most.
games. Yeah.
Then I would say it's more like of games and studios. I
Oh
would
yeah.
say Naughty Dog is definitely one of the inspirations here at Hazelight for sure. And then the early games of Valve. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's why. And then, of course, no doubt about it, Nintendo. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. A huge Nintendo fan. And I think like the Mario games. I still like think Mario Galaxy 2 is one of the best games ever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, it's like the level design, the playfulness is like whoa, it's madness.
Yeah.
I don't know what these developers have. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, they are huge inspiration.
Yeah. Speaking of Naughty Dog, have you played Last of Us Part 2?
Yeah, for sure, of course. Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
did you finish the game?
Yeah, of course,
I
yeah.
fucking love
Yeah.
the ending. I don't know what's wrong with people. Did you?
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil it here, but
Yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
it for sure. I
Yeah, yeah.
mean, no doubt, it was a huge. I mean, I also it took me a bit longer to play it as well because I go around, look at everything. I mean,
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
the details they've done over there. It's like
Insane.
mad. I said
Yeah.
the bar of their details like crazy. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. It's madness.
Yeah.
Just the fact that how they handle ropes and stuff. It's like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you know how complex that shit is?
Yeah.
Or like when someone takes off the shirt and they show it, like it's simple stuff for a normal player. They were like, yeah, she's taking off her shirt. But I'm like, if I would tell it to my developers, they would like pass out, I think. That's how complex this shit is, you know.
Yeah.
So we try to come up with different way of cheating and not showing with the camera and stuff, but they're like, oh, this is complex, let's do it. I don't know how. I mean, it's crazy. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, Naughty Dog is almost like a football team. Like it's FC Barcelona there. So if you're playing there, you better be ready. You can't come there like, okay, I want no. You're there. You're fucking in the Champions League.
Yeah.
If you're ready to play that game, then you go to that. So if you're not, you shouldn't go there because
Yeah.
they're the top. You know, the top of the shit. You know what I mean?
You think you're ever gonna
Oh.
make a AAA game like the games that Naughty Dog makes?
I think yeah. At one point, maybe in the future, but it has to be on my terms. If it's on my, because when you come up in these kind of figures, and I think The Last of Us 2, what could it be like 150 $200 million? When you're on that level of number of money, then of course, like when there's so much money involved, you'll have other people like more worried. So you have to meet in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I wouldn't because if I lose the passion, I can't make a game. But if I have a publisher that's ready to put that amount of money and let me go crazy and the team, let's do it. But I won't do it otherwise.
Have you ever thought about
Always
making
gonna be
a?
all the games that come from Hazelight, guarantee you will always be coming from a place of passion. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, have you ever thought about making an open world game?
Yes, and trust me, it would
Oh,
look
that's gonna be
very
fucking
different.
amazing. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, if we do an open world game, trust me, it will be so unique and different for sure. I mean, I would take away all the things that we know about it. Like, I don't even like collectibles in game. It's everything I question. Like when someone shows me, like, why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Like everything. But yes, if we do an open world game, it would look, it would definitely look not like a normal open world.
Man, that's gonna
Maybe
be
in the
awesome.
future, who knows?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
many ideas. Like I wish I could share something more about It Takes Two and the next one as well. But just make sure to play it when it comes out. Just make
Are you
sure.
kidding me? I'm a huge fan, man. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, you will love it.
I'm sure. So,
What's the background you have? You have a very cool shirt and stuff, man. What is that? It's super cool.
Oh yeah, these.
Yeah.
Ah,
Where you are from Iran? Are you in
Yeah.
Iran right now?
Yeah. I'm in Tehran right now.
Oh, cool, man. How is the situation there?
Fucked up but hopeful.
Oh my god. You know, I have some Iranian friends. So I know some Iranian what heter det, meanings. چه کار میکنی؟ چه خبر؟
God dang, you speak it well.
Listen to this one. Listen to this. پس من بعدم پس من بعدم بهت زنگ میزنم دیگه. فهمیدی؟
My God, dude, your
Yeah, man.
accent, man. Your accent is fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And then I know some bad words, but let's keep it for another time.
You're a
All right,
superhero, man.
Yeah,
Let me
man.
ask you a
Thank
lame
you.
question here. Your
No
favorite
problem.
food?
It has to be Lebanese, but also, you know what food I like? actually Iranian food. I had. What is it called? Orma
Or
sabzi? No, what is?
Masabzi, yeah.
Yeah, but what's the other one? The one with the like a kind of a spinach or some kind, or
قیمه?
what is it called?
قیمه?
Yeah,
Kurish?
maybe something, but
Yeah.
that's super good. But I like of course, most of it is the Lebanese food.
Oh, yeah.
How come you
yeah.
speak so good English, man? When you're in Tehran, like you sound like American. Well, look at me. Like I live in Sweden. I sound like a Arabic idiot. Like they don't let me into the airport. Like when they hear me talk, they think I'm a terrorist or something. Like hello, you know, I have this Arabic English, you know.
Yeah, I watched a lot of movies. Actually, my first passion was making films, and I'm making short films right now. So I watched like tons of movies, and I learned the accent from Scorsese,
good
I guess.
Yeah. Good.
Thank
Fine.
you.
Speak better. You speak better English than some English people I know.
Thank you.
Or I don't know about that, but I anyway can't speak so good, but it's okay.
Thank you. So, your favorite character of your own games?
Oh, interesting. Till now, okay, I can't take the latest game because I would choose one of that. But I would say the little brother in Brothers. Then.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be him.
Any similarity between Brothers and Brothers and you and your brother?
I mean, a little bit. The age difference is kind of the same. We have a couple of years between us, and that game is very personal to me as well because of the ending. And actually, I buried my own little brother. He was a newborn, so
oh my god,
that happened when I was. No, it's fine. I was a young kid. So that happened was in Lebanon, and I was actually with my sister when we did that. So it's not really sad, but it's actually kind of inspiration of that as well. So sometimes you do get inspired from your own life. So there's definitely, and also I think it's hard not to do anything in life without taking from your own life. You know what I mean? Like you get inspired from everything. So there's definitely something to the aspects of the relation of the brothers with me and my brother.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's what I'm talking about, man. You've seen some shit, and but you're so positive in life.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
And that is something I hope anyone is watching this interview. I hope you get inspired as well. That no matter what you see, no matter what happened to you, you can always be happy. You can always be passionate and change the outcome. And I mean, thank you for being Josef Fares.
No problem, man. Just again, listen to more to this than this, and shit will happen. Trust me.
Okay, let's go. Next question.
Yeah, man.
Last inspiring game you played?
Last inspiring game I played, Last of Us Part 2. That was the last one.
Right. So,
for sure. Yeah.
The game you can't wait for?
Right now, I would have to say actually Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Looking really fucking cool, also.
Yeah, that's
looking really good. The amount of pressure these guys have, holy fuck, also. There's so much expectation, but it's looking fantastic. It's looking so good. But I'm looking for more. I'm actually looking forward to playing Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, I play everything pretty much. Like I try to play everything, but there are like a couple of games, but definitely Cyberpunk for sure.
Do you also play bad games just to see how they fucked up the game, to kind of learn something from them? I mean, purposefully going for some.
I mean, most of the time, I don't think games are bad from that sense. Some of them, I feel like, come on. I mean, it's like repetition is bothering me a lot. Like that's something I don't like. I'm like, come on, why doing this for 20 hours? But yes, I try to play all games, even game I don't like. But I stop if I really don't like it. Some game I play through them just to really like understand. I'm trying to understand what people like about them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Great.
Like for instance, Division. It's not my type of game, but I just played it to understand why they are so popular.
Yep.
Yeah. we got a meeting now. Here's Oscar.
Yeah.
He's
hey.
part of Hazelight.
All right. So that's
we're gonna have a random guy walking in the office.
Yeah. We're gonna have a meeting with EA now and fuck shit up.
Yeah, you go do that. So thank you so much, Joseph. I love you, man. And you're one of the coolest person breathing air on the planet. And your and your new way of looking at game design and storytelling is something the industry needs more. And I hope to see other game developers take time and risk to do something like your innovative games. Can't wait to
Cool.
meet you and give you a huge ass hug, man. Peace out, brother.
Cool, man. Peace,
Yeah.
man. Have a good one.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so
Remember
much.
to fuck shit up in Tehran now, okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Take
See you
care.
later. Good.
Bye.